Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to reach 10K subscriber, and let's aim for 5K likes on this video. It might seem hard, but I trust you can make it happen. Now, let's begin. Our story begins with a girl who has just entered university and is walking with her boyfriend Takuma in a park when suddenly he confesses that he has fallen in love with another girl and breaks up with her. This makes Akane depressed, and she does not leave her house for days. Seeing her like that, her friend Momo comforts her and encourages her to do things to stop thinking about her ex. So Akane plays a video game to distract herself, but she gets annoyed when she remembers that she only bought that game to play with Takuma. Furious, she starts hunting dolls, which attracts the attention of another player who greets her and asks her to leave that area to hunt. This infuriates Akane, who refuses to leave and takes it out on him by telling him that her boyfriend just dumped her and that the game helps her stay distracted. But coldly, Call replies that he is not interested in her story and leaves. Then, Akane receives a game message announcing a meeting for all players, and she suspects that Takuma will go with his new girlfriend, so she buys new clothes, puts on makeup, and attends the meeting looking very beautiful, with the intention of making her ex regret leaving her. However, the meeting takes place in a dark room where Akane barely manages to see Takuma with a girl. She hurries to follow them, but slips, falls, and loses her heel. Embarrassed, she is suddenly helped by a boy who picks up her heel and hands it to her. Moved, she thanks him for his help, and he asks if she is okay. She answers yes, but also explains that she fell because it was very dark and the floor was slippery. She adds that lately she has been very distracted until she realizes she has spoken too much and apologizes, sure that he is not interested in what she says. Honestly, the boy answers that he is not and leaves. Hearing this, she remembers the boy from the game and asks if his name is Call. Surprised, he asks who she is, when suddenly Takuma appears, surprised not to see Akane, but Call, because it turns out that he is a famous professional video game player. Hearing this, Akane takes advantage of the situation to make her ex jealous and tells him that Call is her boyfriend, which Call denies, but Takuma doesn't believe him. Then, Akane hands Call a valuable ticket from the video game, and Call pretends to be her boyfriend, leaving Takuma very surprised, though not jealous. Since her plan didn't work, Akane and Call go to a cafe, where she tells him that they met in the video game and disowns her ex-boyfriend. Call only listens silently, so she tells him he is very cold and asks if he is also this cold when he has a girlfriend. To her surprise, he replies that he has never had a girlfriend and is not interested in love. After this, Akane goes to the bathroom, where she notices that she has stained her clothes and hurt her foot when she fell. Regretting having gone to the event, she becomes sad. To make matters worse, she notices that Call has left, which saddens her even more. She is about to leave crying when she sees Call return with a bag. He tells her that he saw her injured foot and went to buy a band-aid, which he delicately applies, touching Akane's heart. Grateful, she offers to buy him more food and asks him to accompany her for a drink. After this, Akane eats and drinks out of spite until she falls asleep. The next day, Akane is surprised to find herself in Call's house. He tells her that he had to carry her there because he didn't know where she lived. Embarrassed, she thanks him for his help and leaves. However, when she arrives home, she realizes that she doesn't have her necklace. She searches everywhere but doesn't find it, so she thinks she left it at Call's house. Therefore, she quickly enters the game to ask him about her necklace, but Call is not online. However, she meets a new character called Princess Ruri, who is so friendly to Akane that she ends up telling her that her ex dumped her. Princess Ruri comforts her, and they both become friends. Then, Call comes into the game, and Akane asks him about her necklace. Call stands up to look for it and ends up stepping on the necklace by chance. The next day, Akane tells her friend what happened, and her friend advises her to forget about the necklace since it was her ex who gave it to her. Later, Akane receives an invitation from Princess Ruri to meet in real life. Momo warns her to be careful because she doesn't know what kind of people are on the internet. Therefore, Akane only agrees to go when she sees that Call will also attend. At the meeting place, she sees a girl who looks like Princess Ruri and approaches her to greet her. However, the girl looks at her with an unfriendly face until two more players arrive and introduce themselves. First is Mr. Komoda, then Sasaki, who, to Akani's surprise, is actually the player behind Princess Ruri. Finally, there is Runa, Sasaki's younger sister. Moments later, Yamada arrives, surprised to see Akane there. Everyone asks how they know each other, to which Akane replies that they met at an event. Runa, however, looks at her angrily. At the end of the meeting, Akane and Sasaki remain friends, which makes Runa even more jealous. Since she had been the only woman in the group, she feels that Akane will steal her friends and decides to remove her from the team. After the meeting, Akane and Yamada leave together, and she asks him which university he attends. To her surprise, he replies that he is in his last year of high school. Then Call tells her that he found her necklace and apologizes for breaking it, but she replies not to worry because it was a gift from her ex and she was about to throw it away anyway. Soon after, Akane receives a call from Runa, who asks her to meet on Saturday. She happily accepts, while Yamada smiles, seeing her so cheerful. Saturday arrives, and Akane goes to a karaoke where she agreed to meet Runa. However, upon arrival, she finds a group of men who are Princess Ruri's fans. Scared, she tries to leave, but the men force her inside, even though she tells them she is not Princess Ruri. Meanwhile, Call goes to Runa's house to give her private lessons and asks if maybe she isn't supposed to be out with Akane that day. Exposed, Runa ends up confessing that she used her brother's account and invited a group of Princess Ruri's fans to the karaoke to meet Akane in real life. Hearing this, Yamada becomes worried, and everyone quickly goes in search of Akane, including Runa, whom her brother forces to go along. Meanwhile, Akane manages to escape from the room, but the men chase her until they fall down the stairs. When Sasaki and the others arrive, he apologizes to Akane for what his sister did and demands that Runa do the same. Runa asks to speak with Akane alone and confesses that she set the trap on purpose because she hated her and wanted to push her away from the group. But to her surprise, Akane tells her that she came with the intention of being her friend because she really likes the group and wanted to ask to join. Hearing this, Runa bursts into tears and apologizes for being mean to her. Akane comforts her, and they reconcile. All of this is overheard by Call, who realizes how kind Akane is and feels touched by her kindness. From then on, Runa and Akane become friends, and Runa helps her level up in the game. Soon, however, Akane's laptop breaks down, so Runa asks Yamada for help. Upon hearing that it's Akane, Yamada quickly goes to her house. Seeing them together, Momo tells Runa that Akane and Call would make a cute couple and asks her to help bring them closer. Then Momo leaves, and Runa thinks an accidental crash would be something romantic, so she pushes Kane into the calling arms. Surprised, Ak asks why he did that when he called. He says that something got into his eye, and, worried, Kane takes his face and comes closer to help him, causing his heartbeat to accelerate. Then the Call continues repairing the laptop and finishes, noting that Kane prepared food for him. The next day, there is a festival at the school, so the whole group attends. They take photos and have fun. Suddenly, Runa starts to have stomach pain, so Akane takes her to the infirmary, where the Call arrives, who notifies her that he was looking for her, and Akane's heart races. Already in the infirmary, Runa confesses that she didn't have breakfast because she wanted to eat a lot of food at the fair, so Yamada and Akane go out to buy her food. When Akane notices that the girls can't stop looking at them, a couple of girls approach to ask if she is the Call's girlfriend. She denies it, but more girls keep coming closer to ask the same thing. That's when he holds her hand, and they both escape. In the end, Sasaki reunites with the boys, and Kane tells him what happened. Hearing this, Sasaki jokes, saying that Ak and Yamada should be boyfriends, and asks Yamada what he thinks of Akane. To this, he replies that he likes her very much. Sasaki quickly declares them a couple, which makes Kane nervous, until Sasaki tells him it was just a joke. Embarrassed, Kane leaves, saying that he will go buy something, but to his surprise, Yamada follows her and asks to speak. He apologizes for Sasaki's joke. She replies that she is not upset, but asks what he would do in the hypothetical case that she wanted to go out with him. To her surprise, he replies that it would be an honor. However, for a boring boy like him, she is an unreachable girl, like a flower on top of a mountain. That's why he never considered that possibility. Upon hearing this, Akan's heart becomes so excited that she ends up smiling happily and tells everything to Momo, who tells her that it is clear Yamada likes her and that she should try to go out with him. However, Akane remembers that Yamada had said he was not interested in love, plus he is a year younger than her, so she thinks it would be best not to maintain romantic feelings for him. Later, she receives a call from Runa, who tells her that a new girl joined the playgroup. This girl turns out to be Yukari, a classmate who is in love with the Call. She attends the same academy as the Call, along with another boy named Takaki, so the three of them leave together. When Yamada notices that Kane had called, he calls back, and they talk for several minutes. Seeing this, Yukari becomes jealous, and Takaki realizes that she likes the Call, so he advises her to confess her feelings. However, she fears that the Call will reject her, since he rejects all girls who confess to him. One day, Yukari asked him why he didn't go out with any girl, and the Call told her that when he was a child, he fell in love with a girl who was bullied at school. Since they lived nearby, they became friends and stayed together the few times she attended school. In the end, because of the bullying, she transferred schools, which saddened the Call so much that he preferred to stay away from women and not fall in love again. The next day, Akane goes to her part-time job despite being with Tos, while Call gives lessons to Runa. When she receives a call from Akane, she warns that they cannot play together because she feels bad, and Call hears it. At night, Akane arrives home with a fever, so she goes out to buy some medicine, but is about to faint when Call appears and carries her home. Once she wakes up, she notices that Call placed a bandage on her forehead for the fever and stayed by her side, which moves her with gratitude. The next day, Akane wakes up feeling better and thanks Yamada again for all his help. He says goodbye, and so does she, but without realizing it, she ends up grabbing his jacket until she notices and apologizes. This gesture makes Akan realize that she feels something for Call, so she meets with Momo and Sasaki and tells them she has fallen in love with him. They encourage her to confess, making her happy. She goes to Call's house and tells him she has something to say, but unfortunately, he has to go to his academy, so he suggests they chat on the way and asks what she wanted to tell him. However, she gets nervous and distracted when they are about to cross the street, so Call grabs her arm to protect her. After this, Call says goodbye because he has to take the bus, telling her he will call after his class. However, when his class finishes, it starts raining. Since Yukari brought an umbrella, Takaki asks Yamada to share it with her, hoping to bring them closer. Instead, Call hands Yukari his umbrella, telling her he will continue running. Yukari screams for him to wait, but in that moment, she collides with a man and her glasses fall off. Fortunately, Call had heard her and returns to help. Moved, Yukari confesses that she likes him very much. She asks him to think about it before answering. After this, Call sends a message to Kane, telling her he won't be able to call and apologizing. The next day, Call looks for Kane at her workplace to apologize again. Seeing her downcast, he draws on her hand to cheer her up. She tells him to be himself, the quiet boy he is. He answers that the reason he is silent is because he is afraid of saying something unnecessary. Call admits that he isn't good at reading people's feelings or understanding jokes, and considers himself boring. However, Kane tells him that nobody is perfect and everyone has good qualities. In his case, he is a kind person who is always willing to help others. She also tells him that being quiet isn't bad, and smiling, she adds that he isn't boring at all. Later, Yamada meets Yukari and apologizes for not being able to return her feelings. Yukari had drawn on her own hand and asked if the girl he liked did the same. Call replied yes. Then everyone congratulates Runa for passing her university entrance exam, and they all go out to dinner to celebrate. Minutes later, Call arrives, and Akane's heart races when she sees him. She congratulates Call because he also got into university, and then everyone eats and drinks happily. However, Akane ends up drunk, so Call takes her home. On the way, they rest on a bench. When she realizes that her shoe is falling off, Call gently picks it up and puts it back on her foot, kneeling in front of her and looking at her with loving eyes. He asks if she can walk, and she answers yes, so he extends his hand, and she takes it. They walk hand in hand until they reach Akane's house, where she can't hold back anymore and asks if he likes her. Finally, with a warm smile, Yamada confesses that he likes her very much. Although this makes her happy, Kane fears she will forget it because she is drunk. But Call tells her that if she forgets, he will confess again the next morning, and he pulls her close to give her a hug. Days later, graduation arrives for Call, and both go to celebrate at the beach, where Yamada finally kisses Kane, telling her how much he likes her. Kane is happy and kisses him back, their hearts racing together, thus ending this love story. Special greetings to all the viewers. Thank you very much for watching the video and supporting the channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this drama, and please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See you next time.